I push back on people about audio video quality all the time. And that's because I'm following the science. So I've spoken to Professor Norbert Schwartz from the University of Southern California about his study about audio and video quality and how it impacts people who are listening and watching us. And what they found in their study was that if your audio and video is poor, then you come across as less likable, less smart, and your work is less important. And if you've higher audio and video quality, then you come across as more likable, smarter, and your work is more important. And I mean, which do you want? For me, it's a no-brainer. For anybody who's doing video calls in almost any environment, it's always better to have better audio and video quality, because it means that the other person isn't struggling to understand us. It means that they're not trying to catch, what was that word? Their cognitive load is reduced, so they're not having to think about what we're saying in the same way. They're able to think about the meaning behind the words rather than what was that word. And that makes a huge difference. It brings down things like irritation levels if people are starting to get annoyed that they can't hear you all the time. All of these things have a massive impact on people wanting to work with us and how we're perceived. And so I think it's crucial to have good audio and video. And for that reason, I'm going to do a live demo of different AV setups. So I've got 4 different microphones here that I'm going to test for you. And I'm going to let you hear a webcam, a kind of a standard entry-level business webcam. I'm going to let you hear a headset, which is a lot crisper, but still not kind of as high quality as I would like. And then I'm going to show you an entry level and then kind of a higher end podcasting microphone, and just let you hear the difference between all of those. They're all recorded today within about 10 minutes of each other in the same environment. Nothing about this environment has changed. The only thing that will change is I'm going to turn on the webcam and it's going to give you the picture from the webcam rather than from my live camera. But apart from that, everything else is exactly the same. So stay tuned, watch this, make a judgment call about the audio video yourself, and you can find links to everything, including a whole booklet that I've done, which is absolutely free, to all of the kind of AV equipment that might be useful in helping to improve your audio video setup. Okay, so first up, this is the Logitech C920 webcam. And so this is an older webcam. It is HD, it's 1080p HD. So I bought this about 10 years or so ago. It was kind of top of the line in the kind of business, corporate HD webcams for a while. And then a lot of the other ones came along and superseded it. But like every webcam, it suffers 2 major problems. And one is that the onboard microphone is actually quite small. And that's just standard because webcams are small and the microphones are small on those webcams. And the other thing is that typically it's quite a bit away from your mouth. So what you'll notice is anybody who cares about audio quality, for example, DJs, singers, people like that, they have the microphone very close to their mouth. And that's simply because that's where you get higher quality audio. And that's why having like a microphone on the boom arm close to your mouth is important. And then the other thing is larger microphones are better because they have more kind of surface area to absorb the sound. And so that's why the microphones on webcams and built into laptops and things like that, they just can never be as high quality as what you'll see on kind of a purpose-built professional microphone. And they do the job. They'll kind of they do the job when you're stuck, but I think they're just not good enough for regular use. I think what's happening is if you're using that regularly, you're not really noticing the downside of that, but you're inflicting this on the other people in that call, the other people who are trying to listen to you and hear you. And also, the background noises and things like that that it picks up, it just doesn't have the same quality. And so that's why I strongly recommend that you upgrade away from the kind of the webcam based microphones and even the onboard laptop ones. As quickly as you can, move to a headset, which will give you crisper audio because the microphone is closer to your mouth, or to a more professional podcasting style microphone like some of the ones I'm about to show you. So now I'm using the Logitech H390 headset. So this is a USB headset. It's quite inexpensive. I think it's around $30 or so, depending on if Amazon happens to be doing a deal. So the audio on this is pretty crisp. It's not as high quality as the professional microphones like the Shure SM7B, but it's still pretty good. So I'll just give you my intro again, just to allow you to compare those. You're listening to The Recognized Authority. I'm your host, Alistair McDermott. So that is the Logitech H390 computer headset. And this last microphone that I'm going to test with you is the ATR 2100. So this is the first microphone that I used for my podcast. And I bought this microphone about 12 years ago, actually. And it's been a really kind of a trusty microphone that's been very useful for me. And so I did eventually decide to upgrade to the more expensive Shure SM7B, but I did use this for about 12 years and for a lot of different recordings. And so the convenience factor with this is that it plugs directly into your computer and you don't need any other expensive equipment like you would do with the Shure SM7B. The ATR 2100 has been superseded by the ATR 2100X, but I've been told that there are very minor differences between the original, which is what I have, and the X version, which is the new version. Now, I'm holding it in my hand. I haven't got it set up on a stand, so apologies if there's a little bit of handling noise just from that. But as you can tell, this is a really, really great microphone. And, this is a super entry-level choice if you're thinking about getting started with podcasting. This will definitely get you through your first year or two of podcasting, and maybe after you're a bit more experience, you might decide to upgrade, or you might decide that this quality is good enough. But because this is a dynamic range microphone, it doesn't pick up the external noise in the same way that a condenser mic will. So this won't pick up the dog barking 3 miles away or cars driving by, things like that. And that's one of the reasons why I love this as a microphone. I think it's really high quality. So now I'm back on my Shure SM7B. Couple of minor things I just want to mention that might be useful for you. First is your microphone should be about the size of your fist away from your mouth, and the microphone needs to be pointing at your mouth. Your mouth does not need to be pointing at the microphone like I'm doing now, but your microphone should be pointing at your mouth. And the reason for that is, so you'll see people do this sometimes, they'll be speaking kind of across the microphone. So the microphone is picking up your voice closely, but what's happening is you're not kind of making noise directly onto the microphone with particularly air coming out of your mouth. And you can, when you speak different sounds, the air comes out of your mouth in different ways. And you can test that by putting your hands like this and saying teapot. And if you just try that, it's very funny, but you'll see if you just do that with your hands and say teapot, you'll see the air coming out of your mouth in different ways. And that's, so what we're trying to do is when we speak kind of across the microphone, but not directly to it, what we're doing is we're just making sure that the air isn't hitting the microphone directly like that from your mouth. So those are some other things that you can do. But the main thing is get a good microphone, get it close to your mouth, get it pointing at you, and give your listeners and your viewers a good experience, because it just takes away from kind of the kind of induced cognitive load that you're giving them. You're making it much easier for them, and you will sound better, you'll sound more authoritative, you'll sound smarter, you'll be even more likable. So like, what else can I say? But I think it's important that you do that. So please, if you're coming on a podcast, like if you're coming on my podcast as a guest, I really would appreciate and notice when people make the attempt to have good quality audio, because it makes such a big difference for the listeners as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my little test. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll just sign off using the exact same phrase so you can compare the previous microphones. So this is The Recognized Authority. I'm your host, Alistair McDermott. Thanks for watching.